Good morning, students. Welcome to the part 3 of how to get 150 plus marks in NEET chemistry. So far we have discussed about the preparation up to aliphatic hydrocarbons. In aliphatic hydrocarbons, what are the important topics we have to study and how they are going to ask questions we have studied. And the next part is aromatic compounds. Aryl halides, phenols, amines and diazonium salts. Now let us see what are the important topics in these things what we have to prepare. So let us see aromatic compounds. In this aromatic compounds, the important thing you have to remember is aromaticity. How to identify whether a compound is aromatic or non-aromatic or anti-aromatic by using Huckel rule. We will identify when a compound is planar, having conjugated multiple bonds or charges and contains 4n plus 2 pi electrons, that is a aromatic compound. If it is having 4n pi electrons, means it is anti-aromatic compound. And if it is not following any of the property, then we call it as non-aromatic compound. And next you see structure of benzene, preparations and reactions of benzene and alkyl benzenes. This is the thing, and you see here electrophilic aromatic substitution is there. This is the very important topic. What we will study in this thing means halogenation reaction, nitration reaction, sulfonation reaction, nitrosation reaction, alkylation, and then acylations are there. The mechanism of this electrophilic substitution is very important thing. So far whatever the question they have asked means based on this thing only they started asking questions. So based on this total aromatic compounds, you can have 2 plus 1 question. One question may come or may not come, but 2 questions you can get definitely from this aromatic compound. In aromatic compounds, what you have to study means whatever the benzene is there. For benzene, preparation method and all is present, and chemical properties of benzene is there. After that, aryl halides is there, phenols is present. After phenols, benzaldehyde is present. After that, benzoic acid is there, aniline is present, and diazonium salts are there. Wherever there is relation with aromaticity, all those things you have to study under this aromatic compound. So if you observe here, I didn't separate alkyl halides and aryl halides separately. I am taking all aromatic compounds together into this thing. So be careful with this thing, mechanism and then orientation effect. As we have discussed in GOC, what are the ortho para directing groups and what are the meta directing groups, like that they will be asking you. One important question they can ask you is orientation effect. There is a compound like this compound nitrated. When this compound is nitrated, what is the attack of the electrophile? This is treated with HNO3 in presence of H2SO4. When this is treated with H2SO4, nitration takes place. So what is the point of attacking? So on first position it will come and attack. Of course I have given so many positions here, but in exam they will give only 4 positions, and you have to see first position, second position, third position, fourth position, fifth position and sixth position. Among these things where the nitro group will come and attack. So in this case how you have to do means, first you have to see whether the compound is having ortho para directing group or meta directing group. If you observe this thing, CO group is meta directing group, NH group is orthopara directing group. Sir, how to identify meta directing groups or how to identify orthopara directing group means, for that thing I will make a video and I will post it in the upcoming days. You can check that video, how to identify orthopara directing groups and how to identify meta directing groups. Next, coming to the problem, in any compound when both orthopara directing groups and meta directing groups are present, the substitution takes place as per the orthopara directing group. So that's why either in this position or either in this position the electrophile will come and attack. Like this, orientation effect is very, very important. If nothing is there means there is no doubt at all, directly on benzene ring it will come and attack. But whenever there is a directing group, definitely it has to go and attack on a particular position. And mechanism, you be careful with the mechanism also. During the mechanism we will be having the carbocations will come, we will be getting the aryl carbocations. These aryl carbocations stability order is very, very important. When nitro group or minus M groups are present, which electrophilic aromatic carbocation is stable or which aryl carbocation is stable. If meta directing groups are there, if orthopara directing groups are there, which electrophile is stable, that kind of questions they will be asking you. Be careful with this thing. And coming to the preparation of this benzene, when phenol on heating with zinc dust, when phenol is heated with zinc dust, directly it will be forming the benzene. Like that, direct formation of benzene reactions. Acetylene, when passed through red hot copper tube, then it will form the benzene. So like that, whenever N-hexane is there, that undergo aromatization reaction to produce the benzene ring. As I have told you, alkanes and alkynes are used as a one of the reaction in the chain reaction. That's why it is a important thing. So be careful with the aromaticity concept of the particular compounds, and after that orientation of the electrophilic substitution. This is the major area which is very, very important. Next, let us get into the next thing, aryl halides. In these aryl halides, what are the important topics and all means? See, in the aryl halides, reactivity order, is very, very important. Melting points and boiling points are very, very important. Orthodichlorobenzene, metadichlorobenzene, and then paradichlorobenzene, which will be having the highest melting point, which will be having the highest boiling point. Remember, the boiling point depends upon the dipole moment. More is the dipole moment means more will be the boiling point. Melting point depends on the symmetry of the molecule. If the molecule is more symmetrical means it will be having the more melting point. If it is less symmetrical means it will be having the less melting point. So that you have to remember. Next, you see nucleophilic aromatic substitution. This is very important one. Whenever there is chlorobenzene, when it is treated with NaOH, there will be no reaction because the chlorine is a nucleophile and OH is a nucleophile. Here there is no chance for the nucleophilic substitution reaction. So that's why to carry out this kind of reaction, a nitro group should be present. So they will give you like this. So para-nitrochlorobenzene, dinitrochlorobenzene, and then trinitrochlorobenzene, which is more reactive towards the aromatic substitution reaction, they will ask you. So at that time trinitrochlorobenzene is more reactive. Here, why aryl halides are less reactive than the alkyl halides towards the nucleophilic substitution reaction? That kind of questions they can ask you based on this aryl halides. And one more important reaction you have to remember is Sandmeyer reaction. As I told you, make a list of the all important reactions, Sandmeyer reaction and then Gattermann reaction. How to remember this? Sandmeyer reaction and Gattermann reaction means benzene diazonium chloride when treated with Cu2Cl2 in presence of HCl. Gattermann reaction is Cu on reaction with HCl. So Sand-Meyer, Meyer is there and Mann is there. Meyer will be having the more duties compared to a normal man. So Sand-Meyer means it is a bigger reagent, and Gattermann means it is a small reagent. Like that you can easily remember the Sand-Meyer reaction and then Gattermann's reaction. And next you see phenols. In this phenols, Attard reaction is very important. 1 year they have asked a question based on this Attard reaction. What is Attard reaction means? When cumene is nothing but the isopropyl benzene. When cumene is treated with hydrogen peroxide and undergo hydrolysis, it will form the phenol and then acetone will be coming. So based on one of the product formed, they have asked a question in 1 year. So be careful with that reaction. Properties and reactions of phenols and Riemer-Tiemann reaction. This is a very important thing. Why it is very important thing means the reagent we are using is CHCl3 in presence of KOH. This CHCl3 in presence of KOH we will be using. What is the intermediate in this reaction means CCl2. Carbene is the intermediate. So based on this 1 year they have asked the question. So CCl2 is intermediate. This is known as the carbene intermediate, and the reagent is CHCl3 in presence of KOH. This reagent we will use in 2 reactions. What are the 2 reactions means? One is Riemer-Tiemann reaction. One more in anilines we will use for carbylamine reaction. So this is a confirmation test for the primary amine groups, and the same chloroform will be used in the Riemer-Tiemann reaction. So be careful with this thing. If you use chloroform on phenol means it will be producing the salicylaldehyde. If you use CCl4 means it will be producing the salicylic acid. So be careful with these things. Anilines and what is carbylamine reaction. In anilines, the important thing you have to remember is basicity of aniline and diazonium salts. This is very important thing. When diazonium salts are treated with H3PO2 means it will be producing the benzene. Reduction reaction takes place. In the same way, anilines when treated with, one of the important reaction is there with aniline. 1 year they have asked a question based on this thing. Aniline when nitrated in presence of H2SO4. One minute. So whenever aniline is reacting with HNO3 and then H2SO4, NH2 is a ortho para directing group, so you can expect only substitution at ortho position and then para position. But in the products you can get the meta product also. Why you will get meta product means during the reaction NH2 will take proton and forms NH3 plus group will come, which is a meta directing group. So since NH3 plus is a meta directing group, the nitro group will come and attack on the meta position also. This is very important. 1 year they have asked a question based on this thing. So be careful with this anilines, and this is the very important corner and exceptional area in aniline. So like this we can do problems on this thing. And you see we didn't cover here aldehydes, benzaldehyde and all is there. So this benzaldehyde, how can we produce the benzaldehyde and all, very important. Coal-base reaction is there for the phenols. When phenol is treated with carbon dioxide in presence of NaOH means salicylic acid will be coming. Those things and all very important. So be careful with the aromatic compound. So wherever there is all aromatic compounds together you keep and study means they will have relation with one another, and hence easily you can cover. If you separate them side by side and somewhere you study means definitely you will forget the thing. So be careful and try to study all the aromatic compounds together, then you will get more grip on these structures and all. So that is the thing regarding the preparation thing of the aromatic compounds. Right, next moving to the next day preparation. So see, biomolecules, alkyl halides and alcohols. This is important thing here. Biomolecules, alkyl halides and alcohols, these three chapters together I have kept in one place. Why I have kept all these things together means, if you observe these three, you can expect one question from the three topics. If you see, for every day preparation I have given you 3 questions chapter. So like that I have arranged. Let us see how to prepare these chapters. See, in the biomolecules, what are the important chapters means, try to remember in biomolecules definitely they are asking questions, and that too they are asking you in a typical manner. So 1 year they have asked based on the polysaccharides, 1 year they have asked based on the amino acids, and 1 year they have asked based on the nucleic acids. And you see classification of carbohydrates into mono, di and then polysaccharides, and see structure elucidation of glucose is there. Ring structure of glucose and fructose is present. Structures of sucrose, maltose and then lactose is present. These three structures are very important. Be careful with this thing. So see, in case of 1 year they have asked a question like this: what is the difference between amylose and then amylopectin? Amylose and amylopectin are the two components of the starch. Amylose is a straight chain molecule, amylopectin is a branched molecule. Amylose will be having the 1,4 linkages, but amylopectin will be having the 1,4 linkages and 1,6 linkages will be there. That's why it will be having the branches with one another. 2,6 linkages will be there. Sorry. So like this, amylose and amylopectin you have to identify. Amylose is a small molecule, so you can take it as a linear molecule, but amylopectin is a branched molecule. So amylopectin, pectin is there means the name itself is little complicated. So like that you can remember as a mnemonic to remember amylose and then amylopectin. And one more thing you see. Next you see, this is the important thing. Biomolecules is very easy chapter so don't miss any concept in this thing. I don't find any topics that you can release. And 1 year they have asked based on this vitamins and the deficiency diseases. Anyhow you will study these things in the zoology, so that's why there is no need to worry about. So try to study biomolecules concept, everything. There is no need to leave behind. And next you see alkyl halides. This is very important thing. In these alkyl halides, nature of CX bond you be careful, and Grignard reagents you be careful. Whenever alkyl halides are treated with magnesium in trials of dry ether, they will be producing the Grignard reagent. And be careful with the polyhalogen derivatives. And besides these polyhalogen derivatives, iodoform test, definitely one question you can expect every time. Either direct question will come or either linking question will be coming based on this iodoform thing. And one more important area is SN1 reactions, SN2 reactions, and SNI reactions, and rearrangement reactions of carbocations are very, very important thing. Normally we will know SN1 and SN2, but during SN1 there is chance of the rearrangement. That also you should be very careful. In polyhalogen derivatives, what you have to look for is teflons are present, not teflons, sorry, chlorofluorocarbons are present, and dichloromethane, trichloromethane, carbon tetrachloride, and then methyl chloride are there. Their dipole moment based questions there is a chance of asking. And at the same time, methyl chloride, methyl bromide, methyl iodide, based on them also dipole moment questions possibility is there. And from this alkyl halides, the important reaction is there, Wurz reaction. Anyhow, we have studied this thing in the alkanes already, so that's why I'm not stressing much on this thing. But be careful with SN1, SN2 mechanism and SNI mechanism. These are the things what you have to note down in case of the alkyl halides. And next, let us go to the alcohols. See, in the alcohols see here, in these alcohols, preparation, manufacture of ethanol by fermentation methods. Why I am telling by fermentation method means we can produce alcohol from the starch and we can produce alcohol from the molasses. In both the cases, we depend upon the enzyme, since these are having relation with the enzyme catalysis, so be careful with the enzymes and everything. And next you see identification of primary, secondary, and then tertiary alcohols, and the test is what you call it as a Lucas test. This is very, very important thing. HCl in presence of zinc chloride is known as the Lucas reagent, and the test is known as the Lucas test. This is kind of preparation method for the alkyl halides, and the process we call it as a Grooves process. So which will be forming primary alcohols will take time to form turbidity more than 5 minutes, secondary alcohols will form turbidity in 5 minutes, and tertiary alcohols will form turbidity within 5 minutes only. Like that you can identify them. And next you see dehydration and then elimination reactions. Mostly dehydrating agents we are having is concentrated H2SO4 is there at 170 degrees centigrade, 140 degrees centigrade, and 110 degree centigrade. At 170 degrees centigrade, alkene will be coming. At 140 degrees centigrade, ether will come. 110 degrees centigrade, it will form a salt. In the same way, in presence of concentrated H3PO4 also different temperature regions will be there, and even for alumina also temperature variations will be coming. That is very, very important thing. And during elimination also Sedgeff product will come and then Hoffman product will come. When Sedgeff product is possible and when Hoffman product is possible, that is also very, very important thing. And one more thing you have to remember is in the preparation of alcohols we are having three methods are there. Hydration in presence of acidic medium, oxymercuration and then demercuration reaction, hydroboration and then hydrolysis reaction. Hydration in acidic medium will produce the alcohols with rearrangement. Oxymercuration and demercuration will produce the alcohols, that is Markovnikov alcohol will come but without rearrangement. Hydroboration and hydrolysis will give you the anti-Markovnikov alcohol. That concept also very, very important. Like this, wherever in any reaction there is a stressing on the stereochemistry of reaction is present, definitely from them you can expect one question. And last you see ethers. In ethers, the important thing what you have to remember is preparation of ethers. As we have discussed nomenclature and isomerism already we have done. In the preparation thing also, Williamson ether synthesis. So in this Williamson ether synthesis, whenever sodium alkoxide is treated with the alkyl halide, it will be forming the ethers. In that case, whenever tertiary halide is there means elimination reaction takes place. So that's why you want to prepare any tertiary substituted ethers means we will take that in the form of the alkoxide. Tertiary alkoxide we will take and we will attack a primary halide to get a tertiary substituted ether. That Williamson ether synthesis is very important thing. And reaction with HI is very important one. Whenever RO R dash is treated with HI, it will break into alcohol and alkyl iodide will come. So how it breaks into alcohol and alkyl iodide? Whenever there is a tertiary group, how it will be dissociating? Normal case, iodine goes with the small alkyl group. Normally iodine will be going with the small alkyl group. Let me explain this thing with one example. CH3O C2H5, when treated with HI, it will produce CH3I and then C2H5 OH will come. So always iodine will attack on the smallest alkyl group. So in every case this same reaction will happen. But whenever there is a compound like CH3, 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 O, CH3, whenever this is treated with HI, now the iodine will not go with the methyl group. The bond will break like this, methyl alcohol and then tertiary butyl iodide will be coming. Why it breaks like this means whenever the protonation takes place, the tertiary carbocation is more stable than the primary carbocation, and hence whenever there is a tertiary group, iodine will attack on the tertiary group, not on the smallest alkyl group. So be careful with this thing in case of the ethers. In case of alcohols, reaction with copper at 300 degree centigrade, that is very important thing. Primary alcohols will produce the aldehydes, secondary alcohols will produce the keto compounds, and then tertiary alcohols will produce the alkenes. This is very important exceptional reaction for the alcohols. Like this, some reactions will be there which alone they will show some specific significance during their reactivity. That kind of reactions you should be stressing much, and those reactions which are having relation with the preparation of other compounds also you should be understanding and learning them. So see, organic case you cannot, there is no reaction like direct question you can ask like this. Mostly they will be asking you in kind of dipole moments or boiling points and melting points and isomerism questions and IUPAC nomenclature and hybridization and reactivity order. Those things means they can alone ask one question. Based on named reactions also they can ask alone one question, but whenever the other chemical properties are there, mostly they will be asking you in combination with one another. Like that chain reactions only they will be asking you, like A gives B, B gives C, like that kind of reactions only they will ask you. And be careful with the DDT structure also. Para dash dichloro diphenyl trichloro ethane will be coming. How many sp3 hybrid orbitals are present, how many sp hybrid orbitals are present, or how many pi bonds are there, or how many sigma bonds are present. And in the same way here in the polyhalogen derivatives we are having Westron and then Westrazole preparation also will be present. So be careful with all those things. So like this we can finish our preparation in case of biomolecules, alkyl halides and alcohols and then ether. So be careful with biomolecules, don't leave any question. Definitely you can expect one question from the biomolecules. Next, let us move to the next day preparation, that is aldehydes and ketones, carboxylic acids and their derivatives, and nitrogens and their amines. See, in these things what are the important things you have to remember? Means see, from this aldehydes and ketones concept, carboxylic acids and amines, you can expect the 3+1 question. 3 questions will be guaranteed, either direct or indirect or in combination with one another. See, previously they asked question based on the addition of ammonia derivatives, iodoform test, and based on the aldol condensation. Be careful with these things. These are the very, very important thing. And let us see what are the important topics we have to cover. Means be careful with the naming of these aldehydes and ketones and the structures of aldehydes and then ketones. And you see these reactions, you be careful. How can you differentiate aldehydes and then ketones? How can we purify the aldehydes from their compounds? Aldehydes and ketones, difference tests are there. If you see confirmation test for aldehyde and ketones, 2,4-DNF test, Fehling's test, and then Tollens test, and then Benedict's test will be coming. So all these tests you be careful with during the preparation. What is NaHCO3 means? Aldehydes only can react with that and forms a soluble compound. Ketones will not form. So we can filter off the ketones and we can get the aldehydes. That's what we will do in this NaHCO3. And reaction with ammonia and its derivatives. Aldehydes will form with ammonia. Imines will come. Primary amines also will be giving you the hydroxylamine will give you the oximes. Phenyl hydrogen will form the phenyl hydrazone. 2,4-dinitrophenyl hydrogen will form the 2,4-dinitrophenyl hydrazone will be coming. And you see in glucose and fructose thing, there is wasazone formation is present. That is also very, very important thing. And you see oxidation and then reduction reactions. During preparation we have one named reaction, that is Rosenmund reduction. What is the reagent in this case? Means palladium in barium sulfate. This is 2 times it is useful. Alkynes, when undergo Rosenmund reduction, they will produce alkenes. When acyl halides are treated with Rosenmund reduction, they will be forming the aldehyde. So that is the importance of this Rosenmund reduction. And you be careful with the Cannizzaro reaction this time. What is the intermediate, or what is Cannizzaro reaction? What are the products formed? Always remember, in a Cannizzaro reaction, the product formed is acid and then alcohol will come. The formed acid will react with the base existing in the reaction and forms a salt. Let us say benzaldehyde, when treated with the NaOH, it will be forming the benzoic acid and then benzyl alcohol. That benzoic acid will react with this base and forms the sodium salt of the benzoic acid. You can use NaOH or you can use KOH also. And be careful with the aldol condensation. Different types of, during aldol condensation formation, an intermediate will be obtained. That intermediate undergo rearrangement reaction to produce the that intermediate will undergo rearrangement reaction to produce an aldehyde. What is that thing? Means they will be asking you during aldol condensation, the intermediate what will be ketoenol tautomerism will be coming. So like that they will be asking you the questions. You be careful with this thing. Next, let us see. Be careful with the differences between these aldehydes and then ketones. That is very, very important thing. Next, moving to the other thing, be careful with the Tollens reaction also. Ammonical silver nitrate is known as a Tollens reagent. And what is the work of PCC and PDC also important. Pyridinium chlorochromate and pyridinium dichromate, lithium aluminum hydride and sodium borohydride, their reactivities with this aldehydes and ketones are important thing. You see, in the carboxylic acid and its derivatives, esterification reaction is very, very important thing. In the derivatives of carboxylic acids, amides are present, acyl halides are there, and then esters are present. So those esters are very, very important thing. In these things, there is a named reaction known as Hell-Vollard-Zelensky reaction. When carboxylic acids having alpha hydrogen treated with iodine in presence of red phosphorus, they will produce the alpha halo carboxylic acids will be coming. This reaction is known as the Hell-Vollard-Zelensky reaction, or you can use red phosphorus and chlorine to produce the chlorocarboxylic acid. So this is used as a synthesis for so many acids. Since alkyl halides are formed, means that halogen group you can replace with any of the group. You can use a cyanide, you can use isocyanide, you can use alcoholic group to produce the lactic acid and all. You can use amine group to produce the amino acid. That's why this HVZ reaction is very very important synthetic reaction, and hence there is a chance of asking questions from this HVZ reaction. And one more important area they can ask you from this is strength of acids and the order of the acidic nature, their Ka values, pKa values. If you see formic acid, benzoic acid and aliphatic acid is there, means formic acid is a stronger acid than the carboxylic acid. Aromatic acids are aromatic acids. So formic acid is more acidic than the benzoic acid. Benzoic acid will be more acidic than the acetic acid. Like that, substituted acids and their acidic nature they will be asking you. So be careful. And esterification reaction also very very important. Be careful with the mechanism of esterification reaction. And next let us see compounds containing nitrogen. Anilines already we have done, aliphatic amines and all we have done. There we have done aniline, so here no need to do that again. Aliphatic amines are there. Their preparation methods, what are the Stephen reduction, how can you get the amines from the cyanides? By the reduction. If you see in alkyl halides, there is a very great reaction like alkyl halides reaction with silver cyanide and alkyl halide reaction with potassium cyanide, alkyl halide reaction with AgNO2 and alkyl halide reaction with NaNO2. In all these things, if you observe, alkyl halide with AgCN. AgCN means it is a covalent bond, so nitrogen attacks and it will form the RNC. With KCN it will form the RCN. With AgNO2 it will form the RNO2, and with NaNO2 it will form the RONO. These four reactions are very 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 important reaction, because isocyanides on hydrolysis will give you the amines and cyanides on hydrolysis will give you the carboxylic acid. So whatever the carbon you are introducing into this thing, that is retained by this compound, but in this case it is not retained. So like that they will ask you. And here nitrogen is attached because there is a covalent bond between silver and then nitrogen, and hence lone pair on the nitrogen will be attacking the alkyl group, so nitrogen directly attacks here. So like this, some important questions are there from these things, you can study them. See, basic character of the substituted amine, which already we have discussed in the general organic chemistry. And be careful with this classification. They are classified as primary amines, secondary amines and then tertiary amines. Normally when we are doing the alcohols case, primary alcohol will be like this, secondary alcohol will be like this, and tertiary alcohol will be like this. So primary alcohol means primary carbon it is attached, secondary carbon alcohols means to the secondary carbon it is attached, tertiary alcohols means it is attached to the tertiary alcohol. But in case of amines, primary amine means it is attached to one carbon, secondary amine means it is attached to two carbons, tertiary amine means it is attached to the three carbon. This is the one of the very very important thing, and everybody will be getting confused with this thing. Even in some exams they have asked you questions based on these things also, not in a NEET exam so far, in some local state entrance test examinations, based on this also they have asked the question. So try to be having clarity on this thing. So like this we can go for the preparation of these aldehydes, ketones and carboxylic acids and their derivatives. And next preparation we will see. Here we got this inorganic chemistry. See, in the inorganic chemistry, we are having alkaline earth metals, group 13 elements and group 14 elements. Before going to see alkali metals also there, but here I didn't introduce that thing. So whatever the inorganic chemistry, in the starting only I have explained, in the part 1 I have clearly explained how they will be asking questions from this inorganic chemistry. There is no need to introduce more, but I will tell you what are the important topics you have to go through these things. So see, diagonal relationship, you be careful, and reactivity of these elements with these things is very very important. Be careful with NaOH reactions and KOH and biological significance. This is a very very important thing. 2 times they have asked questions based on this biological importance of magnesium and then calcium during ATP reactions. What is the significance of course you can do in biology, you will be doing, you can solve, but be careful here also. Calcium ions are useful in the blood clotting and all. Magnesium ion is present in the chlorophyll. In sodium and potassium pump, those ions will be useful. So since they are biologically having relation with this thing, biological significance of these things is very very important. And be careful with the Solvay process, production of sodium carbonate. By using the Solvay process, we can produce sodium carbonate but not potassium carbonate. That is very very important question. Like this, whatever the named reactions are there for preparing the compounds, you have to remember them, or you have to by heart those reactions at least. And after that, next you go to group 13 elements. In the group 13 elements, the important things you have to concentrate is diborane and its preparation method. This is the very very one, because it will be having the banana bond and so many reactions also present. And one more thing is boric acid. So you have to concentrate on these 2 concepts very very clearly. And one more thing is there, alums is present. Alums also you have to concentrate. So diborane chapter you be careful, and these alums and boric acid also you be careful. So boric acid is protic acid or Lewis acid, they will ask you. Boric acid is a Lewis acid. Since it has an empty orbital, it can accommodate the lone pair of electrons, so it behaves as a Lewis acid. And next, coming to the group 14 elements. In these group 14 elements, be careful with the silicones. Silicones are the water repelling compounds formed, and then carbon oxides, carbon monoxide is there, and then carbon dioxide. If you see H2C2O4, that is oxalic acid, HCOOH is formic acid. Whenever they are treated with concentrated H2SO4, let me tell you this here only, concentrated H2SO4 is a dehydrating agent, so it removes water and it will form CO and H2O. Formic acid is a dehydrating, here also dehydrating, CO, CO2 and then H2O will be coming. Like this we can study about the reactions of this formic acid and then oxalic acid with H2SO4. And next you see allotropes of carbon, diamond and then graphite is there. The differences between diamond and the graphite also they will be asking you. And be careful with zeolites, Na2, Al2, Si2O4, XH2O. Whenever from silicates, there are different types of silicates are there, chain silicates are there, sheet silicates are there, and everything will be there. And be careful with the structure of SiO2 is very very important thing. Be careful with that thing also. Normally by looking at the structure we will think the hybridization of silicon will be sp hybridization, but originally it is present in the sp3 hybridization. So be careful with these things also. Next, let us see, these are the important things in these 3 chapters. Next you see group 15, group 16 and then group 17 elements. Let me tell you what are the important things in these cases means. See, in groups, nitrogen preparation is there. How can we prepare the pure nitrogen? Very pure nitrogen can be prepared by thermal decomposition of barium azide and then sodium azide. Allotropes of phosphorus, white phosphorus, red phosphorus, black phosphorus is there, and black phosphorus is beta black is there, and then alpha black is present. Those things and all very very important. If you see in the Holmes signals, already we have discussed, calcium phosphide is used. So whenever Holmes signals are dissolved in calcium phosphide, dissolved in water, means it will be producing the phosphine gas will come. As I have told you, oxy acids and their structures and everything we have already done in case of the chemical bonding. Halide of phosphorus, one importance is there, PCl5. PCl5 in gas state it will have one structure, and in solid state it have a different structure. In solid state it exists as PCl4 plus and then PCl6 minus, means this is present in octahedral and this is present in tetrahedral, but in gaseous state it exists as trigonal bipyramidal thing. This is the very very important question regarding the PCl5. This is direct NCERT statement only, so be careful with that thing. And you see oxides of nitrogen is there. This is very very important corner. So how can we prepare the, see here oxy acid structures and all is there, right? Along with that, try to remember the preparation methods of the particular acids also. When you take PCl3 and PCl5, PCl5 on hydrolysis it forms H3PO4, and PCl3 on hydrolysis it will form H3PO3 will come. In this case, if you observe, oxidation state is +5 and oxidation state is +3. One thing you remember, during hydrolysis reactions, oxidation number of atoms will never change. Be careful with that thing. So be careful with the oxides of the nitrogen and all. And next, coming to the oxygen family. See, in oxygen family, what are the important things we have to concentrate, means ozone preparation and properties, you be careful with that thing. Sulfur dioxide preparation and properties, you be careful. Oxy acids of sulfur and everything already we have done. So see, in the sulfur dioxide, normally chlorine behaves as a bleaching agent and ozone behaves as a bleaching agent. Their bleaching action is because of the oxidizing nature, but sulfur dioxide is bleaching action is because of the reducing nature. This is one of the important thing. And SO3 also present, gamma form of SO3 will be there. How many sigma bonds and pi bonds are present in this SO2 and then SO3? If you take SO2 as double bond Y and double bond O, it is present in sp2 hybridization. So since two p orbitals involved in this thing, one p orbital will form the p pi bond, and one pi bond is formed by the d pi p pi bond. Like this, finding number of p pi d pi bonds and then d pi p pi bonds also they will be asking you the question. So in SO3 how many p pi d pi bonds are present, in SO2 how many p pi d pi bonds are present. Like that, number of questions they can ask you based on these p pi d pi bonds and everything. So be careful with that. And next you see O2 preparation and properties. This also you be careful. And oxides are there, here types of oxides are there. Try to go through very confidently about this types of oxides. Why? Because why I am telling is, there the oxides are classified as normal oxides and mixed oxides. And normal oxides, based on the nature, every year they are asking one question based on the nature of the oxide. If they ask you based on the strength of acidic and basic oxides, means you can easily identify. If higher is the oxidation state, means its acidic nature will be more. But here the dependency is not on the oxidation state when it comes to the different metallic oxides. Whatever the oxides you are having throughout the +1 and +2, first A group, second A group, third A, fourth A, fifth A, sixth A, and then seventh A, and finally D block elements also oxides is there. Try to have a notes on the, or try to have strong grip on the nature of the oxides. This is very 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 important thing. Be careful with this thing. And next, moving on to the other thing, halogens. In these halogens, you have to see interhalogen compounds is very important thing. Since we have done the oxo acids and all already, fluorine chlorine preparation uses and all no need. If you see the bond energy, fluorine chlorine bromine and then iodine is present. What about the bond dissociation energies of these things? Means chlorine greater than, bromine greater than, iodine greater than, fluorine will be coming. Why this much anomaly means? See, though bond length is minimum in case of the fluorine, because of the small size and more lone pairs on the fluorine, there will be maximum revolution between the fluorine atoms, and hence the bonds will be repelling one another and its bond dissociation energy will be lower. Why it is lower means they will be asking you the question. Be careful with that thing. Here the anomaly is this only. One anomaly is based on the electron affinity values, and one more anomaly is based on the bond dissociation energies. These two are the anomalies we can find in the fluorine family elements. Right. Now group 18 elements, here also same thing. Occurrence, configurations, compounds of preparation are very important. Here hydrolysis reactions, as I have told you already, hydrolysis of these halides and oxides are very important, and structure is also very important thing. During preparation of XeF2, XeF4 and XeF6, the ratios are very important thing. Here the ratio will be 1:2 ratio will come, 1:5 ratio and 1:10 ratios are there. You can check NCERT, and now I'm not having that much clarity on that thing. So check your NCERT. The ratio of xenon and then fluorine is very important thing. So be careful with those ratios and all. So these are the important things. And if you see the chlorine, one more important reaction is halogens when treated with water. Halogens when treated with water, they react in different way. Fluorine react in a different way. Chlorine, bromine, iodine react in a different way. That too with cold water they react in a different way, and with hot water they react in a different way. So how they will be reacting is very important. And reaction of NaOH with halogens in cold condition and hot condition is very important. So concentrate on those reactions. So these are the important things in case of these things. And next, let us move into the next thing, metallurgy, D block and F block elements. This is a very important thing. Here we have reached metallurgy. Definitely one question is coming. Every year they are asking you. This year also they will ask you one question from the metallurgy. Previously, based on the cyanide process, they have asked you. Based on Enlingham diagram, they have asked you. Based on the ores of the metals, they have asked you. Be careful with the ores of the metals. Definitely based on the formulas of them, they are asking the questions. And be careful with the, let me tell you the important topics in this case, what you have to prepare. Be careful with the carbon reduction method. Extraction of iron principles are present. Be careful with the dressing methods. Already I have explained you during the starting, or in part 1 I have explained what are the important things in this case. So be careful with all those things as per the thing. And Enlingham diagram, be careful with Enlingham diagram. This is a very important thing. Based on this Enlingham diagram, definitely they will ask you the questions in case of metallurgy. And after this metallurgy, so this is here there is a this much more, whatever the areas I have highlighted, that much you go through enough. And be careful with the words because we study every group elements, every ore of the particular compound, so that's why everything is very very important and nothing to leave behind in case of metallurgy. And see, calcination, roasting, smelting, and every procedure is very very important thing. And next you see D block and F block elements. Be careful with the F block elements, as I have told you the already. Detailed account on oxidation state based on the cerium +4 oxidation state. They have asked a question, and see, based on colors and magnetic properties and complex formation they will ask you. And you see inner transition elements they will ask you. Be careful whenever any question is coming from D and F block elements, means it will be definitely based on the magnetic property or color property or the lanthanide contraction property. Consequences of the lanthanide contraction also. When you move from lanthanum to cerium, the basic nature gradually increases. Why it increases? Or they will give you some bases and they will ask you arrange them in the increasing order of their basic nature. So which of the following, if they want to simplify the question, means which of the following is lanthanide, which of the following is actinide, like that also they will ask you the questions. Be careful with that thing. And you see one more thing, how to identify whether a compound is colored or not colored, means look for the unpaired electrons. If it is having unpaired electrons, means definitely it is a colored one. There is no unpaired electron in that one, means definitely it will not be a colored one. So be careful with those things. And be careful with KMnO4 preparation method and K2Cr2O7 preparation methods. They are very very important things. So be careful with these things. So like this we can do the problems based on this metallurgy. From metallurgy one question will be coming, and from D and F block elements also you can expect one question. After this metallurgy and D block elements, you can have states of matter and then thermodynamics. See, I have arranged these in the last day of preparation, because mostly the states of matter you will be doing in the physics. See, here also same thing. From states of matter you can expect one question, and from thermodynamics also you can expect one question. Why I have arranged all these things last, means Graham's law, Van der Waals equation of state, molecular velocity, these things you will be doing in the physics. But this compressibility factor, liquefaction of gases and critical constants and everything you will study in chemistry only. So try to concentrate on these topics mostly. These topics are very very important compared to this one, because on these things you will do problems in your physics. But here this is the exclusively chemistry topics. What is A and what is B, what A indicates, what B indicates. As A value increases, means the attraction force increases, so liquefaction capacity increases. B value increases, means the size of the molecule increases. And critical temperature, what is critical temperature? What is the relation of liquefaction capacity with the critical temperature? The rounded off corner is there, and find the compressibility factor Z value. PV is equals to Z into nRT will come. Z is equals to V real by V ideal, whether it will show positive deviation or negative deviation. That graphs are there based on the Z value that you go through. From the states of matter, the most neglected corner will be this one, so definitely they can ask you questions from this corner. Be careful with this corner, whatever I am rounding off. And after this, in states of matter, liquid state also there, viscosity is present, and then surface tension is present for the liquid. So be careful with those topics also, because mostly see, they will be looking like some complicated topics. That's why students will not touch in this area, but definitely you can expect one question from this area. Next, going to the thermodynamics. In thermodynamics, 1 year they have asked a question based on the entropy. See, in this thermodynamics, 1 year they have asked question based on the thermodynamics definition. They have asked you, wait a minute. See, these are the terms and basic things are there. Now no need. Gibbs free energy and then physical significance and spontaneity based on entropy. They have asked you, whenever a reaction is in equilibrium, enthalpy of fusion they give you, they will ask you find entropy of fusion and all. Hess law and its applications, determination, thermochemistry. From this thermochemistry, one question you can expect, like enthalpy of reaction. How to find enthalpy of reaction? What is enthalpy of formation? How can you define enthalpy of formation? How to find the enthalpy of formation? For elements, enthalpy of formation is equals to 0. When they give you enthalpy of combustions, how to find enthalpy of reaction? Enthalpy of reaction is equals to enthalpy of combustion of reactants minus enthalpy of combustion of products will come. When they give you in terms of bond dissociation energies, enthalpy of bond dissociation energy of reactants minus enthalpy of bond dissociation energy of products will come. Based on that, enthalpy of neutralization, that is very, very important thing. Definitely you can expect one question from this thermochemistry. And let us see, last thing is Gibbs free energy, physical significance, spontaneity of the process, finding whether a reaction is spontaneous or non-spontaneous. The reaction we are having is delta G is equals to delta H minus T delta. Yes, this is a very, very important thing. They will give you delta H value and delta S value. They will ask you when the reaction will be spontaneous. This is very, very important corner, so be careful with this thing. And you do this entropy thing during boiling of egg and curdling of milk. When milk is being converted into curd, egg is boiled, normal egg, boiled egg. So what happens during this process? Entropy will be increasing or decreasing. Milk is protein. When curd is there, that will break into amino acids. Here also protein is broken into amino acids. So entropy increases and hence delta S is equals to positive will come. This is a very, very important question. During boiling of egg and during curdling of milk, the entropy of the process delta S is equals to positive will be coming. Normally liquid and solid is there, so that's why you will say it is decreasing, but originally you have to see the mechanism of it, and from that you should do the problem. So these are the major areas from which questions will be coming. And still so much we have covered. There will be some areas from which some unexpected questions will be coming. So those unexpected areas will be for everybody. So at least you can be strong up to this to get some reasonable marks. So that's why these concepts will definitely help you to get the reasonable marks. 150 minimum, 150 marks you can get if you are thorough with the topics whatever we have discussed so far. So prepare for your exams very sincerely. Don't get nervous in the exams and do well for your exams and get better rank in your NEET exams. And thank you. This is your Prabhakar and signing off. Bye bye and all the best all of you people.